So this is Ted and Sue Dismang, and they are our first couple that are going to be answering some questions for us. Okay, how many years have you been married? And either one of you can answer.
Go ahead.
39 years, November 24th.
Wow. And how many children do you have?
Two.
2 children.
2 children. A girl and a boy.
That's awesome. How did you meet?
We met at a 4th of July kegger party.
Absolutely, that is true.
That's awesome. Tell me about a time that sticks out to you, that always makes you laugh, that you had together.
Well, we were big into missions when, for years here at the church. So we had gone on a mission trip to Crow Nation, which is in Montana, the Crow Indian Reservation. We took a friend, a lifelong friend with us, and our son Jacob was very small at the time, but he'd already been, and he started telling everyone in the van that the Indians would shoot them with an arrow when they got there, and just being silly. But when we got there, Ted, I'll let you finish what she did.
This lady, she was sitting in the van, and she was in the passenger seat in the front. When she got out, a bottle fell out of the van, and she bent over to pick it up. Well, another lady in the back of the van, she was ready to get out of the van, and she just kicked the door open, and it hit her in the head and knocked her out. So when she came to, she thought that she'd been shot by an Indian.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that was what we talked about, all the fun and all the experiences we've had on missions with the Rhodes Church all these years. We've been here 31 years today.
How cool is that? Awesome that we just happen to be doing this
Right.
on this day. I love it. Okay, Ted, tell me about a time that you endured hard times and overcame together as a couple.
I think when we first got married, I worked at a tire store, and I made decent money, and for I think for about 5 years, we did good. We were doing good, and not struggling financially. But the company that I worked for sold out, and the company that bought them cut my pay about $250 a week. And so we struggled a little bit financially for a few years, and that was just tough. There was times after we paid, we always made sure the first thing that we did when I got paid was pay our tithe. That was right off the top. So there was times whenever I got my check that after paying tithe and paying our bills, we'd have like $2 left out of my paycheck and still hadn't bought groceries yet. So then that was just tough. But we just continued trusting God, paying our tithe, always paying our tithe, and God always made a way. It wasn't maybe necessarily all that comfortable for us. Like I had a guy that come and got me one time, and he's like, "Come on, we're gonna go get some food." And so we went and we got some food out of a dumpster, a dumpster that a grocery store, they just throw stuff out. And so we actually lived like out of the dumpster for like 5 years. That's tough.
Yeah.
We didn't go around broadcasting that, hey, we're eating out of the dumpster.
Sure.
And
But that lasted 5 years. So that was a challenging time, but yet God took care of us because we were committed to the tithe. We could have kept our tithe and we could have bought groceries. But that's when you know when you are really trusting the hand of God to feed you and how he fed us. So I think it marked us.
Yeah.
It marked us forever.
Yeah, one time I remember we had met a man from the state of Michigan, and he just come pulling up one day, and he drove this big brown station wagon, and in the back of this station wagon was just packed full of groceries. And it's like we didn't have no food. I mean, nothing. We had a lot of popcorn, a lot of macaroni and cheese, a lot of eggs. But this guy, his back of his car was packed with groceries.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 6 months worth of groceries.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot.
It was awesome, just to see God, we're like, wow. And that marked us.
Yeah.
We will never not pay our tithe. Never not pay our tithe. That's one thing we will always do. And we learn, it's the tithe that connects you to the blessing.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
So we just, we made that agreement. We will always tithe. And, God's always taking care of us.
That's wonderful. Sue, how has Ted inspired you through your marriage?
Well, through 39 years of marriage, I have to say that I've watched him study the Word of God and be diligent to listen to teachings on faith. And I'll never forget one time when Jacob was very small, he had croup. And he had it so severely that he woke up in the middle of the night, and immediately the mom and me kicked in. I'm like, I'm getting my clothes on. We're going to the hospital. He cannot breathe. Ted took this child and he went in the bathroom. We knew to use, steam. And so we began to steam up the bathroom. But when he prayed, he started commanding Satan to take his hands off of Jacob. And it shook me to the core. It really shook me because I just stood still in the middle of the bedroom because it was late at night and I was getting dressed to go to the hospital. And when he stepped out of the bathroom, Jacob was completely fine. He could breathe, he was fine, and he never had another episode of croup after that. Wow. So it's just the power of a praying husband, a praying father, who knew and still, through all the years, has gleaned faith by study of the Word, study of listening to teachers and preachers through the years that have taught us. That has always inspired me.
That's awesome. How has Sue inspired you?
I think about how Sue treats people, and she don't feel like she's better than anybody, and that's just how I want to be treated. I don't believe anybody is better than anybody. I believe, we're all equal, regardless race, color, whatever. But she always just, and I've made fun of her and made jokes about the people that sometimes connect themselves to her, and I'm like, there's Sue's entourage.
Yes, you have.
But it's a lot of times it's been people that nobody else would take time to spend with them. And I seen God deliver these people and set them free and take them from the bottom of the barrel and make them prosperous, or make them where they have self-worth to themselves, and so that's always just really just amazed me how that she, because I mean, there's times I don't wanna do. You know, we all get there, but you know, she seemed like she always makes time for people.
That's awesome. The next question is for either one of you that want to, or both, whoever wants to answer, is how do you resolve a disagreement in your marriage?
Well, first we fight. We have fought it out for 39 years. So fighting is not always a bad thing. But after we fight, we realize that somebody has to give. And so, you know, we're really good about telling each other we're sorry. And I shouldn't have said that to you. I said it out of anger. I'm sorry, and I ask you to forgive me.
Yeah.
And we do that still to this day after 39 years of marriage. Yeah, we still have fights, but we still know how to resolve it with forgiveness and prayer. But I will tell you that we don't fight near as much as we used to. We are mellowing as we age.
I told Sue earlier, I said, you know, one of my favorite stories that I've always told is when we first got married, I always, you know, I thought I was a lover, you know, and I found out I was a fighter.
Yeah, because see, I was raised with 5 brothers. So only thing I ever knew in life was to fight, you know, because I was the only girl and my dad spoiled me rotten, and I just fought my way through life, and then it kind of carried over into my marriage.
Yeah.
And
She was the only girl of 6 kids, and I was the baby of the family.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was the battle of the wills, you know.
Very much so.
I love that transparency. So good. So, Ted, what is your favorite thing about Sue?
My favorite thing about Sue is her smile. I would rather see her smile as anybody in the whole world. So that's definitely my favorite thing.
That's,
1,000,000 points for that.
yeah.
What is your favorite thing
My
about
favorite
Ted?
thing about Ted is the way he interacts with our grandchildren. They adore him. He adores them. Our baby Callan, I spend the most of the time with her because I babysit her and I'm with her a lot more. But when we're together and we walk into a room, she wants her doll. And that's what the kids call him, is doll. And they just adore him, and he adores them. And that could make my heart any happier than to see that.
Awesome. Here's our last question. Do you feel that your marriage would have been successful if not for your relationship with Jesus?
No.
No way. 100% no. It would have never survived without Jesus.
We tried it.
We were born again about 6 months?
About 9 months.
9 months after we were married, because we weren't saved when we got married.
You were about 6 months. She got saved after about 6 months. She'd go to church and I'd go to parties or have a party
true.
at the house.
So after we aligned in the faith, about a year, 9 months to a year after we were born again, it was hard, but I say local church, go to church, get a church body that can support you and that loves you. Talk to them when you're having problems, because we had a pastor that we could talk to night or day when we were in trouble, and it made all the difference in our relationship staying together 100%.
The last little bit is any additional advice that you would give, Ted, to men who are struggling in their marriage and want to quit. What would you say to them?
Forgiveness. Forgiveness is the key. If you can't forgive, you'll never be successful in marriage. It's very humbling, And I mean, you just have to humble yourself and just forgive. And if you don't forgive, it won't work. It won't work.
Anything else you'd like to say about any topic, either one of you?
Put Jesus first. If you put Jesus first in your life, keep him the first love of your life, you know, Jesus never said that we would have an easy life. He called us overcomers. So there will be many challenges and many things to overcome, especially in marriage. But if you put Jesus at the front of your life, and he is your first love no matter what, he will create in you that heart of love for your spouse that you might not think could ever return, or that you think, I don't know if I've ever had it. He will create that for you.
You know, in Corinthians chapter 13 in the Amplified Bible, it talks about how love, and it says, love is ever ready to think the best about every person. And so that's love. Love and forgiveness is
The key.
and be ever ready.
Yes.
Thank you all so much.